right, thank you to that amazing panel. That was wonderful to get started, and I am excited now to move on to the bestowing of our first two C3E Mid-Career Awards to the first two of the amazing 8 women that we're going to honor here. And the Ambassador Marilyn Brown is going to introduce the Education Award. And Marilyn is an endowed professor of energy policy in the School of Public Policy at Georgia Tech. And I could say many great things about Marilyn, but I will just pick out a couple, which is that she's written 4 textbooks on climate and energy and has authored more than 250 publications, a very appropriate person to be giving this award. And among her honors and awards, she's co-recipient of the 2007 Nobel Peace Prize for contributing to the report on mitigation of climate change. So Marilyn, please come up.
Thank you, Martha, for that introduction, kind introduction. This is the 6th year that I've been on the evaluation team for the education category of C3E awards. And year after year, I have seen an expansion in the number of talented candidates making the choice of la creme de la creme exceedingly difficult. You know, we look for women who are leaders in their field, who are making a difference in clean energy, and who are mentoring the next generation of superstars. And Nicole Lautze is this year's education winner because she excels in all 3 dimensions. Nicole is on the faculty of the University of Hawaii with a BS in geology from UCLA and a PhD in geology and geophysics from the University of Hawaii. She has published an abundance of peer-reviewed articles, you know, which is the gold star standard for universities. But in addition, Nicole has applied her knowledge in productive ways to assist in the development of promising and often overlooked clean energy resource, geothermal. So Susan, thank you for your question. And Nicole will answer it in even more detail, I am sure. So in addition to being carbon-free, geothermal resources can provide base load generation to enable deep penetration of variable renewable energy, which, as we all know from the recent publication of the Department of Energy's staff report on baseload energy, is a very important and demanding and critical service. At the university, Nicole founded and currently leads the Hawaii Groundwater and Geothermal Resource Center. There, Nicole and her team have characterized and digitized and documented the state's geothermal assets. This has involved modeling and measurement and data analytics and the use of sophisticated equipment that I learned about this morning, such as magnetotellurics, which can infer resources and guide exploration activities. So her center's website, with all of this data and the documents, has received tens of thousands of hits and hundreds of thousands of document downloads. But perhaps most of all, Nicole Lautze has mentored many undergraduate and graduate students with her expertise, her personal commitment to their careers, and the resources from her successful grantswomanship. I looked for a synonym. It wasn't easy. So there we go. Lots of funding that she has competed for successfully to be able to keep these activities ongoing. So thus, it is my honor and privilege to introduce you to Nicole Lautze, recipient of the C3E 2017 Award for Education. We're the guinea pigs. We're trying to figure it out here. Let's see. All right. How's this?
Thank you to Marilyn for such a warm introduction. Good afternoon and aloha. I am genuinely humbled and so grateful to be here today, surrounded by such remarkable women and men. I would like to thank the C3E ambassadors for selecting me for this award, and thank the U.S. Department of Energy for supporting the C3E initiative, as well as for funding what has been my big project over the past 3 years, a geothermal resource assessment across the state of Hawaii. I'd like to thank my nominator, Eve Sprunt, who was a reviewer for this DOE project, my fellow faculty, a few whom were intimidated by Eve's credentials, and the large number of students who have worked with me over the years. I thank my references, Wendy Calvin of the University of Nevada, Reno, and Gwen Jacobs, who I work with at the University of Hawaii. To Wendy, I wish there were more hours in each day so that we could collaborate on more projects. And to complete the thank yous, to my husband and our little ones, our energetic 2-year-old son, Alex, and sweet almost 6-month-old Gabriella, thank you for the laughter and the love. To my family in the Bay Area, thank you for so many years of continuous support. And to my in-laws in Hawaii, thank you for the constant graciousness. It means so much that Alex and Gabby are in your loving hands. So with my day-to-day life right now somewhere between busy and crazy busy, I rarely take a minute to sit back and think about how I got here, or what I'm doing or how I got here. I really appreciate this award for acknowledging the work that I do, and I'm grateful that this award enables me to share a bit of my story with you. So I graduated from high school with a strong desire to help the environment and a keen interest in science. As an undergraduate at UCLA, I found geology, and I fell in love with rocks and the outdoors. And as a graduate student at the University of Hawaii, that rock love became focused on active volcanoes. Postdoctoral fellowships took me to Peru, Mexico, and Italy, where I lived and continued to work on active volcanoes. And then I returned to Hawaii in 2010, where the experience in geology and volcanology took on the very practical application of geothermal exploration, in a state where I believe geothermal energy development, if done responsibly, makes a lot of sense. Hawaii imports petroleum resources to meet roughly 75% of its energy needs, which is at high cost to the global environment and the economy. The latter is exemplified by the fact that Hawaii pays the highest electricity prices in the nation, which are over double the national average. The state has ambitious renewable energy goals, with the legislature having set a policy objective of becoming 100% renewable by the year 2045. I believe this should be applauded. However, there's not much mention of base load power in the planning to meet this objective. The Hawaiian Islands are entirely volcanic in origin, and at least 2 of the 7 main islands in the state host active volcanoes. Yet surprisingly little is known about the extent of the state's geothermal potential outside of the one proven resource area. My work is trying to change this. So about 6 years ago, I took on a geothermal informatics project, which Marilyn mentioned, and led to the creation of the Hawaii Groundwater and Geothermal Resources Center and launch of our website. The website hosts historical and current papers, videos, photos, slides, and data related to Hawaii's groundwater and geothermal resources. The intent of this site is to provide an informational platform for legislature stakeholders and the general public, with a goal of encouraging innovation in water management and geothermal energy. This project has and continues to be a success, as demonstrated by the large number of users, thanks to the dedication of a large number of students. And then over the past 3 years, I've led a project to update a 3-decades-old geothermal resource assessment for the state. The project is supported by the US DOE's Hydrothermal Play Fairway program. I'll refer you to our papers for exciting project results, so I was here to say that leading this project has been among the most rewarding experiences in my career. One, because the team is both incredibly capable, but also because the team is very enthusiastic about the work we are doing. And 2, because that enthusiasm appears to be spreading. I typically mentor at least a handful of students at once. And honestly, these days, I have difficulty keeping up with the number of emails I receive from students interested in this research and interested in joining my group. This is great to see, and working with such bright and excited individuals makes the work truly fulfilling. To wrap up, I would like to once again express my thanks to C3E for recognizing this work that I truly believe in and love. I am honored to be here, and though dashing back to the little ones in Hawaii tomorrow, I look forward to getting more involved in the program in the months and years to come.
Okay, so the next ambassador who will be presenting the government award is Connie Lau, and I mentioned her briefly this morning, or this afternoon. Connie is the president and CEO of Hawaiian Electric, and HEI is helping Hawaii achieve its goal to be 100% renewable by 2045. There's a lot to say about Connie. She's a very busy person. She's on many boards, including EPRI and Edison Electric, and she's unfortunately leaving us tonight to go work with the Department of Homeland Security on cybersecurity and the grid. She serves on a committee there. But anyway, Connie, come on up, and thanks for all you do.
Thanks, Martha. And before I go into making this award, I did want to tell everybody that there is hope because I come from one of the industries that has been one of the most male-dominated, the electric utilities. And for many years, I was the only female CEO. But very recently, we now have 9 female CEOs of publicly traded utilities, so that's 22%. So ours number has really climbed over time, although S&P 500 has gone down, and there's only about 8% CEOs there. So there is hope. I am very honored today to present the C3E Award for Government for 2017 to Chris LaFleur. The Government Award recognizes local, state, or federal employees or contractors who have advanced policies, regulations, or incentives to support the development and deployment of clean energy. Chris, aka Dr. Chris LaFleur, has a BS in geomechanical engineering, an MS in fire protection engineering, a doctorate of engineering in manufacturing engineering, and she also served as a lieutenant in the U.S. Marine Corps. As Fire Risk Program Manager at Sandia National Labs, she focuses on the fire risk assessment of emerging clean energy technologies to enable the development of safe and reliable systems that contribute to global energy solutions. As we all know, if our planet and our economies are going to get to 100% clean solutions, we need to keep all our technological options open, and we need to keep advancing and investing in them. Dr. LaFleur is doing just this, particularly with hydrogen. At Sandia, she manages a diverse R&D portfolio which provides science and risk-based tools to promote deployment of clean hydrogen technologies, such as zero-emissions fuel cell electric vehicles. Chris and her team are highly visible both nationally and also internationally, with numerous partnerships that promote international harmonization of hydrogen safety, regulations, codes, and standards. The panels and committees that she serves on for the Department of Energy, the National Fire Protection Association, and the Coast Guard are too numerous to mention, but I do want to call out one thing to you, and that is Chris's leadership in many diversity and inclusion networks and activities, particularly with the LGBT community and women's networks which help mentor and advance women and girls, the reason we are all here. Without a doubt, Chris has truly distinguished herself, and she is also an outstanding role model for others. So now it gives me great pleasure to call Dr. Chris LaFleur to the stage to accept the C3E Award in Government for 2017 and to share a few thoughts with us. Chris.
Thank you. This is an honor. It's kind of like for an engineer, it's closest you get to being a rock star. So I appreciate that. I want to acknowledge EERE and the Fuel Cell Technology Office that gives me the opportunity to do the work that I do. I have great advocates there, Sunita Satyapal, Will James, and Laura Hill. Thank you. We also have a host of supportive leaders at Sandia National Laboratory, including the people who nominated me, Susan Pickering, John Zimmerman, and Mitch McCrory. Also want to call out Chris San Marquis, who is a great mentor and friend to me. I appreciate his perspective and genuineness always. And the front team at Albuquerque, and all the engineers and scientists that work on the hydrogen program in Sandia. Most importantly, the fiercest, bravest, most inspiring, the one who loves me, really, really loves me, my wife, Mary. And our son and daughter, Sarah and Derek. Love you guys. My parents and teachers who always told me you can be whatever you want to be when you grow up, and I believed them. That's the most important part. Apparently, you have to believe that. I remember when I found out you could study fire. Like, it was such a revelation. I thought, wow, I thought there was just a problem. Bad thing that happened to buildings and houses and forests and factories. I didn't realize you could engineer it. And you can engineer it out of the equation and make our world better. So that was like my calling instantly. And it allows me to do work that doesn't feel like work at all. So one thing I want to say about clean energy, maybe two, this involves change. If we're going to evolve into clean energy solutions, it's a lot of change to our relationship with energy that's evolved over the past 100 years. And change is hard, and it's compounded by our need for creative solutions to really difficult problems. And some of these problems involve fire hazards, right? Like a fire in a wind turbine is a bad day, right? And some of the new battery technologies have some really unique ignition hazards. And the one that's near and dear to my heart, fuel cell electric vehicles involve that H word, hydrogen, right? Which kind of makes a lot of people flash back to, their 7th grade history class, and they look at me kind of funny, and they're like, somehow she's compromised. And they say, why are we doing this? Didn't we learn anything from the Hindenburg? I said the other H word. And so the reason is we need to say it. We need to talk about it. We need to have the opportunity to say, yes, we have learned a few things in the 80 years since that happened. We know a lot more about aircraft and static and electrical storms. We know a lot more about hydrogen. We have computers, They help us analyze the risks. They help us characterize things, mitigate those risks. So we have a lot better tools, and we have a lot more knowledge that can allow us to address these problems. The other thing we need is more people working on clean energy. So I'm investing my award into a great program for future scientists and engineers. It's called Sally Ride Science, if anybody ever heard of that. So it was founded by Sally Ride and her partner and wife, Tam O'Shaughnessy, and several other women scientists. And the mission there is to inspire young people in STEM and to increase STEM literacy. And so they have this program called the Junior Academy. It's in the summer, and they didn't have a clean energy course. So what we're going to do is develop the content for a course to expose a lot more kids to clean energy, the problems that we need to work on, and it'll fund 10 students to attend this course. So hopefully we'll inspire them, and they'll find the technical challenge that enables them to do work that doesn't feel like work. Thank you again.
Wow. All right. So this is all great. Loving it. We're about to have a break, and we're going to try to keep it to 10 minutes, which means we'll be back at 3:20. Okay. But first, a shout out to everybody who is on the live stream, who's watching us all over the place. We got an email from the Colorado C3E kind of hinting they'd like a shout out. So we're giving it to them and everybody. So, all right, so we have an action-packed afternoon, and we really appreciate you guys coming back. We're gonna get started at 3:20 with another great panel. Thank you.